Story 1. Am I the a-hole for not letting my miracle baby niece be my flower girl at my wedding? My 27 female older brother and sister, both mid-30s, just welcomed their first child a year and a half ago after years of trying. After many failed attempts, sister-in-law was told that she wouldn't be able to conceive due to a medical condition she has, and they finally got pregnant. Since having my niece, the baby has been the center of attention at every family event we've had since she was born. Birthdays, weddings, family get-togethers, you name it. Now don't get me wrong, I love my niece, but it can get to be a little too much when my daughter-in-law goes on and on about how they've tried to conceive, complications they've had, miscarriages they've had, etc. Like, a little too much info. Many family members have commented on how it's a little bit excessive, but no one has said anything because they don't want to sound like an a-hole. Anyway, I'm getting married in the spring, and my brother and sister-in-law approached me last weekend about having my niece be the flower girl. Now, my fiance, 35 male, has 2 children, 10 male and 6 female from his previous marriage. His son is one of his groomsmen, while his daughter has asked to be our flower girl when we told them the news that we were getting married a year ago, as it's something she always wanted to do, so of course we said yes. So, I explained this to my sister-in-law when she asked me about my niece. She asked if my stepdaughter can just carry my niece with her. I said, I don't think she'd be comfortable with that, considering she's 6. She then asked why I can't give that role to my niece and allow herself to carry my niece down as the flower girl. I said no, I already promised my stepdaughter. She then starts going off about how my lack of effort to incorporate my niece is disgusting to her. I should honor her in some way since I know how long and hard they tried for my niece. Now, I may sound like an a-hole for this, but I kind of got fed up and snapped and said, incorporate my niece how? By the time the wedding comes around, she'll be 2 years old. The entire family already knows your story about how long and hard you guys tried for her. What more do you expect me to do to honor her? She started crying and said that clearly I don't love my one and only niece and I'm letting her down. I said, of course I love my niece, and obviously she's going to be involved in pictures and stuff, but I'm not going to let my stepdaughter down by giving my niece a role she's too young to remember anyway. Well, now my sister-in-law and brother are peed off with me for not letting my niece be a flower girl and are running around telling the rest of the family I don't love my niece. My mom has been trying to stay neutral, but thinks my stepdaughter would understand if I explained to her I need to give that role to my niece. I'm firm in my decision, though, and my fiancé is thankful that I didn't let his daughter down. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my niece to be the flower girl? I mean, she's gonna be 2. She's not going to remember. Nobody really remembers stuff from when they're 2. They're not making big, wild impressions. This is not the moment to give your niece, this kind of recognition and stuff. This is 100% your sister-in-law and brother wanting that attention, for their niece. And I'm certain they love her. And I'm certain she's their wonderful miracle baby. And they care so much about her. And for them, she is their whole world. But no matter how much of a miracle your baby is, folks, you gotta remember, that kid is only the whole world to you, and you can't expect that to just extend out to everyone. If you want your child to feel special and wonderful, you have so many opportunities to provide that over the years, and you don't need to take away what will be a wonderful memory for this 6-year-old stepdaughter. What a wonderful thing to be involved in that wedding, to help a stepdaughter and stepmother connect and stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. It means way more to her, and the sister-in-law and brother are being a-holes about it. The end. Story 2. Entitled Mom Thinks It's Okay to Touch Pregnant Mom Gets Slapped and Arrested. So the cast is me, Rookie Cop, PM, Pregnant Mom, EM, Karen. So I just started my shift and I was feeling good. I had a good dinner, all my good partners were on shift, and I was jamming out to my favorite Backstreet Boys track in my car. Then it happens. Dispatch sends out a call about a disturbance at a local coffee shop in my area. So I take the call and zoom in. I pull up and there she is, Karen. I take one step out of my patrol car and she basically runs up to me. Now, Karen was 42 years old with that really short haircut, and I did notice that she had a big red mark on her cheek. Me. Ma'am, everything is all right. Entitled Mom in the most dramatic tone. Thank goodness you're here. I was just attacked by a crazy woman in the coffee shop. Okay, where is she? Karen points to a woman in the shop. I tell her to wait outside. She doesn't. And I request an additional deputy to come out. I walk inside and see a young woman who's very angry and very pregnant. I would have to say like 7 months maybe. She's sitting at the table on her phone. I approach her and asked her what happened. Pregnant mom. So I'm in here getting a coffee, just minding my business, when that lady, points at Karen, walks up to me and starts touching my belly. I ask her to stop, but she keeps touching me. Then when the barista sets my coffee down for me, she, Karen, takes it off the counter, hands it back to the barista, and says it's illegal to sell coffee to a pregnant woman. Then she starts touching my belly again, saying that I am a bad mom. I ask her to leave me alone and stop touching me. She then tells me she is a mother and that it's okay. She got really rough touching my belly, and I got scared. When I tried to walk away, she wouldn't stop, so I slapped the bee to get her to leave me alone. I looked at Karen, who was standing by the door, rolling her eyes as the pregnant mother was telling her story. My partner shows up and walks up to me. Now, my partner is a no BS, short, southern, corn-fed, mud-raised woman. I ask her to hold it down out here. I talked to the manager and several employees behind the bar. They all confirmed what the pregnant mother said, and the manager even brought me back to the office and showed me the security footage. All of it confirms the pregnant mother's story, and on camera, it looked like Karen was getting aggressive with the pregnant mom because the pregnant mom tried to walk away and Karen wouldn't let her stomach go. I walk out to pregnant mom. Me. Ma'am, you want to press charges? Pregnant mom. Yes, please. I walk over to Karen. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to turn around and place your hands behind your back. What? You're under arrest. Side note, in my state, you can be arrested for intentional and unlawful touching of someone. Since Karen was both aggressive and kept touching this pregnant mother, she broke the law. You can't arrest me. It's not illegal to touch a pregnant woman. You should arrest the employees of this place. They were giving coffee to a pregnant woman, endangering the child. Ma'am, no, you cannot touch someone without their permission, pregnant or not. Second, there is no law that says a pregnant woman cannot drink coffee, so please turn around and place your hands behind your back. No, I am not getting arrested. I am leaving. I have to get home to my children. Karen turns to leave the store, and my partner steps in front of her with a try-me look on her face. Karen stops dead in her tracks. I took that moment, snatched her hands, and put on a pair of cuffs. Karen loses it. She starts trying to get away and screams. She is flailing so hard that she knocks off my body camera. I have to pick her up and carry her to my patrol car. When I get there, my partner opens the door, but Karen actually puts her feet on panel to stop me from putting her in. My partner rolls her eyes, grabs her taser, and zaps her leg. Karen shrieks and finally gets in the car. My partner, the saint that she is, says she does the paperwork while I take Karen to jail. So the whole ride, I'm getting told how I need to watch my back, how she knows the sheriff, how I'm going to lose my job, and how I have no idea who she is. I get her to jail, and she starts going off about her rights. She needs to talk to a lawyer, and she needs to be released right now. The jail staff was looking at me with that, "What unholy nightmare did you bring us?" stare. So I did my report and realized I still have 9 hours on shift. Luckily, the rest of the night was not that bad. Okay, so folks who watch me enough know that I'm not typically the biggest fan of the police as a whole. I think it is very kind of setup that's very susceptible to corruption and typically can breed a lot of bad apples and whatnot. But I do believe that there are good individuals with good intentions at the very least. And I think we just found one because this poster, they did the right thing. I love that they did this because that woman, that entitled person touching someone like that, a pregnant woman, like just touching her belly and that is ludicrous. And then telling her what she can and can't buy. Like, I don't understand how a person becomes like that. Just don't touch other people without their permission. It's not hard to do. I'm doing it right now. Look, I'm not touching other people. I go in public. And I don't touch other people. Stop touching other people unless they say that you can. And for pregnant women especially, oh my God, carry tasers on you, please. Protect yourselves from these weird people that feel like they have a right to touch your belly, because that, if I was a woman and I was pregnant, I would be terrified of those people, and you would have every right to be, especially if they were like this. Story 3. Entitled mom confronts me for having the audacity to buy our house when her son wanted it. Brief backstory. Back in March, I, 25 female, and my partner, 27 male, bought a house. Big deal for us, and we're so glad we managed to pull this off, especially right before the pandemic got bad. It's a livable fixer-upper. The lady that lived here bought it in '67 and was the only owner before us, and she made no updates in that time, lol. It keeps us busy, and that's worked out really well being home so often. Now to the event with Entitled Mom. In May, my big project was pulling out some nasty bushes that had taken over a huge chunk of the front side yard. It was hot, I was sweaty, I'm digging out roots and throwing branches. As I'm right up front and making a pretty drastic change to the yard, people notice. Most neighbors stop by, say a quick hello from the car, and drive away. But not Entitled Mom. Entitled Mom pulls up in a shiny black Suburban from the opposite side of the road, parks the wrong way, and rolls down her window. I'd say she's in her 50s to 60s. White, gray bob haircut. I stand up and pause my music. The following conversation isn't exact, but pretty close, as this conversation was just so entitled. Hey, did you buy this house? Yep, just moved in last month. Did you know the family? That sold it? Not really. We just got lucky they chose us, I guess. Haha. Trying to be nice, but kind of off-put, she'd ask none of the typical neighbor questions. We made a great offer. Yeah, my son really wanted this house. He grew up in this neighborhood, you know. Oh, darn. Yeah, houses move fast right now. He spent his whole life in this area. He really deserves to stay in the neighborhood, you know? Yeah, that's too bad. Major what the F feelings now. How much did you offer? Me, not about to tell her the details. Over asking price. We were proactive, huh? Well, my son really wanted that house. Me, feeling quite awkward with this whole situation and just looking to shoo this lady along. Yeah, well, I'm sure more houses will go up for sale around here. Well, that doesn't help him now, does it? He had his heart set on that house. I just exaggeratedly shrug and decide to resume my root cutting and try to give her the message. You're probably flipping it. He would have loved it. No, we're not. We're staying long term. Yeah, right. She doesn't leave. I'm wondering if I should go inside or something. She just keeps looking at me, expecting me to say something. I keep cutting at the root. Is it just you, or did your family help you get it? Me, getting pretty short in tone. My partner and I bought it together. My grandkids would have loved the yard. A loved yard makes a house a home, you know. Me, not looking up. Well, my dogs will love it too, especially once I'm done. Seriously? I just scoff, pull my root out, throw it on the pile. I feel her eyes watching me. Me, really ready to be done. Well, have a good day. Then, with a last glare and an ugh, she speeds off, leaving quite annoyed and bewildered, me in my dirty glory, mulling over what the heck just happened. Did this freaking lady just try to guilt trip me because we bought a house her son wanted? Indeed, apparently. What the F? Definitely the most unwelcoming interaction I have had since we moved in, and I have not seen her since. I want you to imagine that you are with this entitled mom, like sitting in the car. And what do you do in this situation? Because I would have eventually grabbed the steering wheel and put my foot over to hit the gas and been like, you need to stop. You're being insane. This is not okay. What a weird thing to do. Your son didn't get the house, and so now you're going to go here and be like this? I get it. A lot of house flippers suck. House flipping is it is a scourge plaguing the land in many regards, and a lot of it something needs to happen about it because it is ridiculous. But Just because someone bought a house that your son wanted, you can't just go around being a piece of crap. Like, I'm sorry. There's a lot of houses in the world. Just get over it. Story 4. Neighbors kept crabbing about my Christmas decorations, so I kept adding to them. I own a big house. I'm talking about the old Victorian type that I restored. An older couple moved in across the street this summer and started crabbing about everything I did. They didn't like the siding I was putting on. My front door color was ugly. They hated all the different colored flowers I planted. They didn't like the idea of a young single woman living in a house I clearly couldn't afford. They actually told me that. I tried to ignore them until Christmas. I put up lights and a few blow-ups, but nothing the other neighbors don't do. This couple started crabbing right off. Christmas offended them. I just smiled and added more. At this moment, my house can be seen on Mars. To add to the petty, I told the neighbors next to me, and he told another and then another. You get the picture. I will always be thankful that I absolutely adore all of my neighbors. There are like 3 people with yards that are kind of like close and connected to ours, and all of them are lovely. We get along very, very well. We interact. Things are good. And I'll just never get moving into a neighborhood and making enemies with the people by you. Like, just being kind of crabby and them basically saying that they don't like it because you're young and single. Like, what? What? I can't wrap my head around being just such miserable people. Like, folks, can you just try to be happy? Can you just try to be nice and like just live somewhere without being jerks to other people? Like, you didn't even give them like a reason. It's not like you were doing stuff in the first place, but they started acting like jerks. And so, yeah, you started to do stuff, which I would agree with. I do not like Christmas decorations, unless I'm on shrooms, but I don't like Christmas decorations typically, but I would 100% do what you did and just flood my yard with the dang things if I encountered people like that. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.